Welcome to the Everyday Bow Hunter. I'm your host, Mike Manley, retired Green Beret turned bow hunter, joined by my brother Dan Zeamer. We're here to share tips, stories, and talk gear, all from our unique points of view. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned bow hunter, I think you're going to like it. So let's go. All right, everyone, this is Mike. This is Dan. Episode 14. Really making moves here now, you know?
Yeah, we're together.
Yep. Together once again.
Yeah, man. Feels good.
Since we were at Andy's camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And for you guys that don't know, we don't do most of these together. And the sad part is we live around a half a mile away from each other.
Yeah, walking
so that's kind of what the funny part is. But hey, Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. When this comes out, it'll be in time for Christmas and probably our only podcast until after the New Year. So Merry Christmas, everyone. We appreciate you all. And we hope all of you get everything you want for Christmas and you have a great New Year. You know, happy holidays to you and your family.
Yes.
So Dan and I, we kind of kick things off. Okay. Hey, we'll start off. First, got a great comment on episode 13 today. Or was it 12? 12 or 13, one or the other, from a guy named Greg from Ontario, Canada. Thanks for listening, man. Appreciate it. Great comments. Yeah. Glad everything's helping you out. Glad we're influencing what you're doing. You know, hopefully, you know, our goal is to help beginner bow hunters like you, you know, get set up and start achieving the goals you want to achieve. So thanks for listening, man. Thanks for the comment. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and best of luck, man. I hope nothing but great success for you.
So, we got a couple listener questions on the blog, and one of them we'll start off with is, it's a pretty simple question, but we kind of talk about it a lot on here, and that's the ethics of hunting.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not a sexy subject, but it is something that we try to do. And the guy that asked me a question, it was a sincere question. He said, you talk about this a lot on your podcast. You talk about being an ethical hunter, but okay, I'm new to this. What does that exactly mean? What are you talking about when you're talking about being an ethical hunter?
Yeah.
And figured you'd start off, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, it goes in so many different ways. There's so many ways that ethical hunting can be applied here. So for me, it's, you know, part one, how you treat other hunters. Treat them with respect. If they need help, help them. When it comes to the laws, don't try and skirt the laws. Don't try and cut it as close to the laws as possible. Do the right thing every time, all the time. You know, if it's a spike buck and they're yay big, but it might be small enough that it could be considered a doe, you know what? Let that animal grow. Don't shoot it. Go shoot a doe, one that doesn't have little spikes. If it doesn't happen for you, it doesn't happen for you. That's why it's hunting and not getting. So yeah. There's that, you know, there's so much that goes to it. Treat these animals with the utmost respect. They're majestic animals. Don't rush your shots, and you could end up wounding an animal. Unfortunately, I did it this year, so I kind of feel like a hypocrite by even saying anything.
It's not a hypocrite, but it's part of bow hunting. It happens.
It happens.
The animal has a vote. I always say the animal has a vote. Yeah. You could take the best, most lined up shot. We talk about deer jumping the string.
Yes.
You know, they hear the shot come off, and they do that duck to jump away.
A lot can happen from the time you pull that trigger till the arrow hits that animal.
Yeah.
But do that animal some respect and follow through with it. So you shoot at the animal. Go follow the blood till you can't find anything anymore. At least respect that animal. So ethics to me is really what it comes down to is respect in every aspect of hunting. You know, I think we're pretty fortunate to be able to hunt. Treat that sport with respect. You know, yeah. That's what it comes down to.
And that's kind of just made me think of something. We're talking about that recovering the animal. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and a guy was talking about his frustrations. He searched for 4 days, couldn't find it. He was going in. He said gave up, and he was going in the 5th day, and he was going in the general same vicinity where he was hunting before, and he ran into a guy, and the guy said, "Man, there's a dead deer right over here. It really is stinking." And he went over, And sure enough, his arrow was still stuck in it. It was hit right where he thought it's the same deer, the antlers he identified, etc.
Yeah, yeah.
And because it was kind of a unique deer.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Damn it, there's my tag though." That's his deer. He didn't go out and try to shoot another deer because that was inconvenient to him. So
Ethics.
yeah, the ethics.
Yeah.
It's not always sexy, but it's about doing the right thing too. And sometimes it's hard to do that right thing.
Yeah.
You can struggle with it.
Yeah.
But, and another thing is understanding when you do go to recover a deer, that knowing when to back off. Like you just have a little bit of blood, you saw it run off.
Yeah.
You think your shot wasn't great maybe, and you say, hey, I got to give this deer time to die. So the more you chase it sometimes, the more you will push that deer.
Yeah.
And if you see where they laid down,
Yeah,
and they
I was actually going to say that. Like,
if you see where they bedded,
yeah.
then
Back out.
You need to back out.
Like that's one of the biggest, your number one sign. If you don't think you didn't see that deer drop, you're going after this deer. You see blood. If you see that it laid down and the blood's still nice and wet where it laid down, maybe you need to back out for a couple hours and give it time, because you could be pushing that deer. These deer have incredible adrenaline in them, and they will just go and go and go. And you're setting yourself up for failure there.
We tracked deer over what was that? You guys tracked 4 miles. 4 miles. So, and recovered the deer. So you say, wow, I'm never going to find this deer. Yep. This deer couldn't possibly keep going. Well, yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
Yes,
it's amazing how, like, you think, how does that deer even have blood left in its body? But they're amazing animals. And that's what I'm saying about treat them with respect. These are amazing animals. Like, well, for the beginners, once you start hunting and these things start happening to you, you're going to gain so much respect for them, because you're going to say, what a tough freaking animal, man.
These are lessons everybody learns.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the key indicator, like we said, is you see that bed where they laid down and you got that puddle of blood there where they were at, and now you got a blood trail starting again. That means you push that deer out of that bed.
Yep.
Because otherwise they were going to sit down there and probably die there.
Yep.
So that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
So the next question I got was kind of more to me, but it was a guy was on my site at archeryhunting.com, and he said, hey, I just got done reading your blog post, the best camouflage for deer hunting, and I want to know, so you outlined a bunch of different camo. What camo do you actually think is the best for deer hunting? And honestly, without being a deer, I can't tell you. So now deer are red-green colorblind, and they see the world in a lot of grays. They can see yellow. They can see blue. Really bad. So don't wear blue or blue jeans. They can really see that stuff. Yeah. They can see they can see ultraviolet light a lot. So if you have UV brighteners in your laundry detergent, it'll make your stuff glow. And actually, like if they had night vision goggles on, they actually see the best in that time right between daylight and dark, because of the way their eyes are and the type of vision they have.
Yeah,
that's the way they see. But as far as the best camouflage is that which helps you blend in the environment that you're in. So in some cases, they call it mimicry camouflage, which is the camo that has leaves and sticks and stuff on it, like your real tree camo and stuff like that. That camo, a lot of times the deer's just going to see blobs. They're not going to see all that detail.
Right.
They're not going to see that. That's why they say a disruption style camouflage that has micro and macro dispersion. And what that means is that there's fine little details in it, and then there's big swaths of color. So SICK is one of the ones that did massive research through the University of Washington initially, and really spurred this whole camo revolution on. And they found that it was really, really effective at breaking down. They have camo that's meant for elevation in a tree, which is the elevated 2. They have the on the ground, which is the Optifade subalpine. They have open country for like out west and stuff. And Kuyu is another one that has that. Huntworth. There's a lot of companies that I didn't even name in that blog post because there's so many companies doing it, right? So if it has the colors that blend into the environment you're in, And
Cryptech, sorry. Yeah, Cryptech has their own stuff.
Yeah.
I love Cryptech's camo.
I have some sitting over there.
Yeah, you got some.
Yeah. It's actually better in person than it is on the website.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
We'll have to check that out then.
So, but anyway, that's the deal. Now, the only mimicry camouflage that I think is really, really good for hunting outside, better than disruption style, is that was like where you hunt in like a marsh and you have the reed stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And some of the camo that has the total marsh look on it.
Yeah.
And you're basically looking just like your environment.
Like a lot of duck hunters wear.
Yeah, a lot of duck hunters wearing stuff. That's some good stuff. So anyway, that's, to sit here and say there's one camouflage that's the best, it's definitely not. It's based on your environment, the general colors of it. Yeah. And then you just got to understand the basics of deer vision too. Yeah. And when you understand that, they basically say they have like 2100 vision.
Okay.
So they actually see you better from 40 yards than they see you from 20.
Oh.
So that's a big thing. So if I don't know how many times you had a deer at 20 yards stop when they're doing the head bob.
They're trying to figure it out.
They're trying to figure you out, right? They don't know what you are. They know it's not right. There's something wrong.
And just so other people do know, beginners, if you're not used to being around deer, I had a doe this year come in. Well, she was like 7 yards away from me. Looked like she was staring right at me, right in my eyes. But really what she was doing was looking through me. She never saw me because when she went to walk away, she wasn't spooked. Her tail didn't go or anything. She just kind of fed right along. And there's times where you think you're made, be patient. You're not made. Like, they're looking through you. They don't realize what they're looking at.
The actual number one thing that you'll get busted on with a deer is movement.
Yeah, movement.
If you can be still and not move,
squint your eyes a little bit.
Yeah,
so
they're going to see
they're
going to see your eyes and you're blinking and stuff.
Yep.
I've had many deer stare me down and have the stare down contest where I'm just sitting there trying not to move, and then finally,
get the old dry eye and start blinking. Boom.
Yeah. I was telling this story the other day. There's a deer when we were in Ohio.
Yeah.
It came down over a hill. I was hunting on the reverse side in a climber on a tree, and there's a steep incline, and the deer came down exactly where I didn't expect him to come
right.
from.
Of course.
And it was like a 6 point. And he stopped like as close as Dan is to me. And he was sitting there, and all I could see was I was facing like this. All I could see was antlers and his nose. And I didn't move. And finally I was like, turned and looked at him. And he ran up the hill and stopped and looked at me. And of course I didn't have time for a shot or anything.
Right.
But that's the kind of things that you can be that close,
Yeah.
And you got that hex stuff, which is
Yeah. I had that first time I ever wore it. I had a doe. I thought she was going to run me over. She was running straight at me. I was a younger, probably a year or two old, running right at me, and like at the last second, she just kind of like veered off a little bit and ran right by me, and I was pretty impressed. I was like, okay, one, she was running with her tongue hanging out. She was running from something. Mm-hmm. Was that it, or was it the hex? So I still don't know. But then again, that doe that was 5 yards from me, mm-hmm. I had my full Stratus bibs and all that on, Sika gear on, but I did have my hex gear on underneath of all that. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, she looked right at me like this. But I swear to God, it was like deadlocked in the eyes, but it wasn't. She never actually saw me, which was like pretty impressive.
Now, if you're not familiar with what hex is, it's
it breaks up your electrical magnetic field.
It blocks it from
It blocks it. Yes.
Yeah. So every animal or whatever,
every being
emits this electromagnetic signature, right. And they say that deer really can sense that.
Yes.
And this blocks it. Not just deer, but turkey, whatever.
Yeah.
They have great videos on YouTube.
Yes, they do. Their videos are fun to watch. They had one where a cougar came right up to them. I think that's pretty wild. But anyway, yeah, I think in my short experience with it, I think it works.
Yeah.
Because I was also where the day I shot at the big buck, and he was 15 yards from me and was just feeding along, eating acorns. Mm-hmm. So that's I do think it works. I'm pretty impressed, and I hunt off the ground, mm-hmm. So it's not like I'm at eye level with these animals. There's something to be said there. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I said in the last episode that I didn't get busted at all this season, and I misspoke. I meant I meant from like getting busted by their nose.
Okay.
I got busted from movement.
Right.
I got busted from that moving, and I think that was still only like, I think like 3 times the whole season I got busted for movement.
Yeah.
One was that little fawn that came back anyway. She didn't care. She wanted to get down that trail.
Ugh.
But anyway,
Determination.
I hope that answers your question. There's no perfect answer for that. Sorry, as far as that goes. I'm looking here. Dan and I had some things we wanted to talk. Oh, I know what it was, Dan. So, have you ever fallen asleep and woken up with deer around you, and then what'd you do after that?
No, but I've fallen asleep and woken up and didn't know where I was. I was in such a deep sleep. I was actually using a hunting blind, and it felt like eternity till the sun was going to come up, and it was just, I got in way early. This might have had something to do with it the night before. And so I just moved my chair out of the way and I laid right down on the ground. And around 8:30, I heard birds chirping, and I kind of come to. I wake up, and it was my first time hunting that spot. And I peek my head out the window, and I'm looking around like, where the hell am I at? I had no clue where I was at. And then, of course, everything comes together. I'm like, oh, I know where I'm at. It just took me a minute. Like, I sleep very well in the woods.
Yeah, I do too.
It's very peaceful, man. And when I go into that kind of deep sleep, when I wake up, it's kind of a little dangerous, because when I wake up, I'm out to lunch, man. I'm like, where the hell? But yeah, no. So no, I've never woken up and had deer right in front of me.
Oh,
you
a
have?
bunch of times.
Yeah.
Because I would do a lot of times, because we'd hunt hard, right?
Yeah.
So in the mornings you get there and you're in the dark still.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the climbing stand that I used for many years, still have sitting over here. It's Taj Mahal of climbers, and you lay
Too
back in that
comfortable.
thing,
Rack out. Yeah.
And I'd get there early before light, and I'd say, oh, I'm going to take a nap before it gets late. And probably half a dozen times I woke up and there were deer around me. Most time doe.
Yeah.
But there was a time, and I was up on Buck Ridge, and a place I called Buck Ridge because I shot 2 different bucks up there, and then one of them I did not recover after tracking a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it poured down rain.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Archery.
Yeah. But there. I'm totally racked out. It's like 3 p.m, and I wake up and there's a bear below me, and I had put Dopey out. I had Dopey on. I was using scent lures, and I think it was Trails N 307, which is the magic lure.
The licorice.
Yes.
Bear love licorice.
Yes, yeah. Bear love licorice. So it's Trails N 307. I had the scent wick hanging off of a little sapling tree, and he's at it and he's licking it. But I no sooner moved in that stand. I barely even turned. I was thinking I'm gonna stand up, because it was actually bear season at the time.
Yeah, bear archery.
And I'm like, I'm gonna shoot this bear, but I didn't. I barely moved, and he
took off,
shot off like a cannon.
They're grease lightning too. Yeah.
He was gone. But so that was definitely one of those sleep times.
Yeah. So my have you ever is, you want to call this a segment, but have you ever witnessed a buck peeing on his glands? Like how they their rear end squats down, they bring their legs in, and they pee on their glands. Have you ever witnessed that?
I've never seen it. I've seen it on videos. I've never seen it live.
I saw it last year, and it was a spike. Mm-hmm. But still, I was like, what is it? And then it dawned on me what was happening. At first, you don't.
So if you ever shoot
making a weird movement, and I'm like, what is it doing? And I could actually hear the pee hitting the leaves, and I realized that, it took me a minute. I'm like, oh, it's peeing on his glands. Holy crap, I can't believe I'm seeing this. It was pretty cool. It was neat.
Well, that's why if you ever shoot a buck and later in the season especially,
they're all so wet and sticky.
But their knees will be really dark.
Yeah, so that's why.
That's saturated with that gland there, that they're not just peeing, but they're also
What do they call it? Metatarsal gland?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
from the metatarsal. They're, I can't think of the damn word.
Well,
But anyway, they're getting rid of it.
yeah. It's happened.
It's coming out.
Oh. So
It's coming out of the thing.
Mike wanted me to do this little thing where does this only happen to me?
Because it only happens to you.
Like,
So he has this thing because in our family, so his last name's Zeamer, mine's Manley, and that's a whole different story. But
my dad's is like Murphy's Law. If it can happen, it will happen.
It'll happen.
And the strangest happens. So that kind of got passed on down to me. And I'll just say the weirdest things happen to me in the woods. Like one time I'm hunting, we call it Easy Street, and I'm hunting out this spot, and I hear what I think's deer coming, and I get up. I'm up in a tree stand. I get up and I get ready. I'm getting ready, and I look and I realize that it's people on horseback coming up through the woods, riding right by me. And the one guy was wearing what looked like Carhartt tan deer colored clothing in hunting season in a state forest. And I made comment to him, and he wanted to turn my words around on me. Was it, what you're saying? You're going to shoot me? I was like, no, you know how that is. You know, people always want to make you out to be the best when you point out their flaws or whatever. But at any rate, it's stuff like that happens to me. Another one, I bought that Hawk tree stand, and first time using it, I climb up, and normally I get out to the edge of the platform, and I go down like that, and it kind of sets it where it sits in the tree. And when I did that, the bolts broke off, and down I went. And I literally packed everything up, drove all the way to Hamburg, where Cabela's is, went in there. They got on the phone with Hawk. Hawk sent me all new bolts and this and that. But from that moment, I was like, dude, I can't use this stand. I don't care if you give me new bolts, whatever.
That was crazy.
So I ended up buying a brand new Summit, the Viper SD or whatever. Bought that, drove back, and got an evening hunt in out of that. Came home and gave that tree stand to Andy Musser, which we all know now, but I don't think he ever used it. But, I just couldn't trust it. Nothing against Hawk. Hawk makes some great stuff.
Probably hanging in his property somewhere.
Probably somewhere. It's things like that, the stupid things that happen to me. I would like to hear from people out there. What's the stupid stuff that happens to you? The stuff that's so out in left field that you're like, really? Did this just happen? Yeah. Kind of like the guy blowing the horn, me, you, and Dad. Like this, it's stuff like that. Like I personally, for the listeners, I want to hear some of the stupid stuff that happens from you. So if you could leave a comment on YouTube or Instagram or anything like that, and just hashtag it, the stupid stuff that happens, or no, what should we do here? Hashtag it, does this only happen to me? that way it can come directly to us, and I want to hear these stories, man. Like, please share with us, dude.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right, so in the spirit of Christmas, a little elf. Mike. What is the number one thing you're hoping to see come Sunday morning? We are 3 days away from Christmas. Today's Thursday, Sunday's Christmas. So when you wake up Christmas morning and Santa Claus stops by, what are you hoping is in your stocking?
So, I asked for like some flannels and stuff like that. You can believe that. I'm not really a flannel guy, but I was
let me, as far as hunting gear.
So I asked for, I know, I was just kidding.
I asked for flannels.
Yeah.
I asked for underwear and socks too, but.
So I actually asked for this, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a mobile battery power station.
Okay. Sorry, I heard something weird.
So I can have it with me to charge up all my various stuff, my headlamp that I asked for a new headlamp.
Are you going rechargeable?
Rechargeable headlamp.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one for work. I'll just say this. They're great.
It's just because I'm tired of the battery crap.
My coworker went on Amazon and got it. It's awesome. Seriously, I love it, and it lasts forever. Like, I'm down in basement. For those who don't know, I work for a water authority, and I am a meter technician. So I go into the customers' rooms and I change the meters out. 90% of where the meter is down in your dark basement, it's a dark basement. So I go in with a headlamp. I live by the headlamp, and I wish I knew what make and model it was, but you can get and it has indicators on it to show you your battery life, so that you know if you need to charge it prior to the hunt, let's say, things like that. So just keep that in mind. I guess you can't keep it in mind if it's a gift.
Well, I told you before, I had this Diamond 400 headlamp this season, and it chewed up batteries like you would not believe. And I'm using good batteries. I'm using crap batteries.
That's disappointing because Diamond's a reputable brand.
The light was great. It had the red light in it, and the light was nice and bright and stuff. But it just, I was going through batteries after 2 days of hunting, doing morning and evening hunts, and
it's not like you're using it that long.
No,
that's sad.
That's why I was frustrated with it. So I asked for one of them, but because I take cameras and other stuff with me, but just like charging that and other.
Just food for thought too is the one that we got for work. Mm-hmm. It goes off of motion also, so you could just go like this in front of your face, or like that, and it turns off and on.
No, I don't want that.
What happens is I'll go in to change a meter, and the shadow of it going off the wall, it turns off on me, and I'm sitting there like trying to change a meter again, and I'm going like,
that's exactly. End up in the tree, a deer's coming in. Well, sometimes,
hey deer,
have you ever done this? Where you go in the morning, you have your headlamp on, you get in the tree, you turn your headlamp off, but you just leave it on your head.
Oh yeah.
It's on your head, and you forgot about it. And I've actually gone to go walk out of the woods, and I'm like looking for my headlamp everywhere. It's on my head.
Well, last day of rifle season this year, or we went for our family party or whatever at the end. In the morning, I went out hunting. I'm sitting on the ground, and I sit down, and not but 50, 60 yards away. I don't know why I said it like that, but away, from me. Coyote freaking howls and kind of scared the crap out of me. So I threw my headlamp back on. Did one of them numbers. It's not. I'm the one with the weapon. I get it. Yeah. But when they're that close, it's eerie.
Yeah. Well, this thing is a portable generator, but it's not really a generator. It's a battery, just a big lithium battery.
Right.
But you can charge your phone. You can charge a battery. One of those big battery packs that you take with you.
Right.
With you.
Yeah.
To go out too. So if you're out remote somewhere, and you don't want to go back to camp or whatever, and you don't have the ability to get back to somewhere to charge, you have it there with you. You plug all your stuff in. You're charging it while you're taking a break before you go out for your evening hunt or whatever. And so I asked for one of those.
My son got me a cell pack, and it's a speed charger for cell phone and stuff like that. It's literally only this big and like that thick, and it'll charge my phone 3 and 4 times. A little one. He got a really good one. I was like pretty impressed by it.
So for my GoPro, a lot of times I'll put it on loop, right in the tree, have it like facing me.
Yeah.
My GoPro is running on loop all the time.
Right.
And it's only doing these 5-minute loops.
Okay.
So it's not recording like endlessly.
Right.
Every 5 minutes it's doing 1-minute segments, and every 5 minutes it starts over again.
Okay.
So it's not chewing up your memory card.
Yeah.
But battery on those things, you can burn that out in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
If you have it running.
Yeah.
So
GoPro batteries are not great.
Yeah. So I take a power bank in with me, and I plug it in the USB-C.
Yeah.
On that case.
Yeah.
You can launch the case
and just have it running right off of that.
Have it run off that, and that'll last me 2 days without recharging.
Right.
And that battery's awesome that I have. So that's one of the things that I do for that. So it's not necessarily your everyday hunter stuff.
Right.
But it's stuff that I do, and I want to do more camping stuff this year. Not necessarily camping overnight stuff, but maybe a little bit of that, because we're going to do that.
Right.
But maybe out all day and just have a little bit of stuff there to come back to your car for a lunch break.
Yeah.
Maybe brew some coffee, stuff like that, and do more of that. So I asked for some stuff like that for Christmas too, to help augment me for a little remote.
Now, for me,
stuff.
because I shot at so many deer this year and lost so many arrows, I'm hoping for some new arrows for Christmas.
Well, that would be what there's a different thing that I'm going to do that I didn't ask for Christmas because I want to make sure I get the right thing, and I want to have somebody else get me something that's not correct.
Yeah.
But well, we can talk about that, dude. What are you hoping for? You said just arrows, but that's
Well, some slick trick, inch and an eighth cut, 4-blade broadheads. That's kind of like the highest thing on my list. I've heard nothing but great reviews from these guys. Watched 100 YouTube videos about it. The results are all the same. They're lethal and durable. Blades are replaceable, resharpenable. Like there's so many benefits to it. I have nothing against the magnet black hornets that we're using.
Magnus, yeah.
Magnus. What did I say? Magnet.
He said Magnus.
Okay. Here we go again. But no, I have nothing against them. Okay, yes, I do. The tip of it, it's all blade going the whole way to the tip. I get in my own head. You know me. I get in my own head and I got to make a change or I'm not going to be comfortable. And if I'm uneasy, that gets in my brain when I go to shoot, and then I'm not making great shots. And I need to make great shots every time. So I have to be comfortable. And unfortunately, it costs me $1 million just to get comfortable sometimes. Literally, it doesn't, but you know what I mean. So I would like to give these slick tricks a whirl, man. Like I'm hell-bent on the fixed broadhead. And these things have lethal results. So I just want to get, and they come in a 4-pack versus a 3-pack. I like that because one of them could become your practice broadhead, and you still have 3 left. You know, I like that idea.
So yeah, and we kind of lean towards fixed blade broadheads because mechanicals have more things that can go wrong with them, especially when you're doing angles.
Yeah,
angled shots. If you're straight on broadside shot, I mean you're going to tear it up with most broadheads.
Yeah.
But
and I shot rages for years, 2-inch cut with amazing results. But that being said, so when it comes to archery hunting, there's factors, elements, we'll call it. So you have mechanical element, you have natural element, and then you have human element. You can do your part by taking an element out of the equation where things could go wrong. And if things are going to go wrong, which we just talked about, I would like to go. I moved to fixed head because I'm trying to take the mechanical aspect, one part of it. Now, with your bow, there's things that can happen with your release, the cams, there's a lot. But why not try to simplify it and take some negatives out of the equation? I'm not saying mechanicals are negative. It's a personal preference. It's a personal preference.
But there's certain shots you can't take too with the mechanical, and that because they're gonna pop open when they make contact.
Yeah, you really shouldn't be taking a hard quartered away shot. You know,
so
you shouldn't.
But if you have like tall grass,
that too,
and you're close to the deer, you're not doing a far shot. You're close. You got a 5-10 yard shot, and that fixed blade
is going to plow through that.
It's going to plow through that where that mechanical possibly could deploy. And it's supposed to only open up when it hits the deer. So,
but crap happens.
Yeah. That's just it's taken away the element that you don't want to happen.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that there's a ton of mechanicals out there that are really good broadheads, and they fly really good. A lot of them fly really good. So, I mean, just like field points.
I started out with the Grim Reapers when I first started archery hunting. I loved them. I went on to, for a couple of years, switched back to fixed head, and I was doing the G5 Montex.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and then I switched G5. They made a mechanical broadhead, which I used that for a while. Man, them things flew so good. Phenomenal. And then I went to the Rage for years. A good 4 or 5 years I was on the Rages, and I'll tell you what, I slayed some serious deer with them. I had great success with them. But I moved to a heavier broadhead. I went to 125 grain.
Yep.
And I wanted some more impact, we'll say, knockdown power. And with that, I felt personally going fixed was the way to go. I want to be able to plow through bone stuff like that. So again, this is really subjective. It's a personal preference. Now, there are facts, like you said, certain shots you shouldn't be taken with mechanicals. Yeah, there is that, but this is very subjective. I don't want to discourage anybody from do your homework, do what fits you best. If mechanicals, if they're flying better for you, shoot them, man. Do what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Especially if you're sitting over a field all the time, and it's open, you don't have a lot of obstacles in front of you.
Yeah.
That might be the way to go for you.
Or very open timber, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again.
But even there, you had your angled shot or you hit bone.
Yeah.
And some of those go through bone pretty good. They have those good bone breakers on the tips and stuff.
The buck I got last year, I experienced severe deflection. So it went in right here and it ended up traveling, going the whole way down the deer and up into its spine. And when took the hide off and we were cleaning it out, I went in to get the fish loins near its crotch there, the little fish loins in there. As I was going up, I felt something hit my finger, and I went, what the hell? And I cleared some of the blood away, and there was my broadhead. There was that rage broadhead. I almost dragged my finger across the blades, had to grab pliers to pull it out. So that traveled from right here all the way down to here. I did not like that deflection. That very moment, I went, I'm moving to a fixed broadhead. That was the defining moment for me that made me switch. Yeah.
And there's a lot of them that you were testing. What broad was that rage that you were testing in at the camp into the broadhead target?
Yeah, there wasn't okay. So this year, I was with the Magnus, not the Black Hornet,
the Stinger.
The Stinger. Okay, so I only had 2 left, and then I had bought a pack of Rage 2-inch cut, but this year was the hypodermics.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to switch to these a while. That way I have 3 in my quiver, not 2.
Mm-hmm. So
I started shooting them. They were not deploying. And I freaked out. And then I went to the Black Hornets. And, I was pretty, okay with them. They fly great. Those Magnus Black Hornets,
that's why you
they
should also
fly
always
great.
test your broadhead.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with how they flew, to be honest with you. But, now I am down one of them and hit 2 of them in my quiver. So now that's why I want to try these slick trips.
The really closest thing I used to mechanical, well, I think I used
You did that hybrid.
I used the
Trocar hybrid?
The Muzzy Trocar hybrid.
Yeah.
I used that, and that did that deer pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, that was Vincent Buck? Yeah. Vincent it's just, we have names for our hunt spots again, and don't ask me why.
So they don't correlate with actual places.
Yeah, it's our little code word, and I don't know if we ever talked about this.
We did, I think, one of the early podcasts.
The
call signs.
Yeah, so we all have handles on 2-way. For up at our camp, we don't get great cell phone reception, so we all have handles that we go by. He's Rage, I'm Whiskey River, our uncle is Mississippi, our dad is Timber Rattler, and
or Snake Charmer,
which he won't answer to. And our friend Jevin is Wolverine. So we have all these names for everybody. It's pretty cool. Our cousin Mark is the Gray Ghost. That's a funny story, but anyway, that's for another time.
But yeah, when we're talking out in the mountains,
you don't want to give your name out.
Well, and we're also, although he just gave it all away, but
yeah.
But
hello, America.
It's also we're not giving out our geographic locations, so we can talk about a general area and everybody knows what that is.
We all do amongst ourselves.
We know where that is, so it's our own little code names that we have for places, and some of the names are pretty funny. I think I hunted in Fox Run this year,
which we've never seen a fox at.
Yeah.
Dad's like, what should we name it? And I was like, I don't know, Fox Run. He's like, I like it. Let's say, so we went with it.
You got Shit Tree.
Yeah, we got Shit Tree, Clump, because it was clumps of the deer, the FFDS was all clumped up. Yeah. So Andy Musser said FFDS, and I was like, oh, you saw, he goes, no, I saw Fairly Fresh Deer sign, and I went, oh man, you could use it more ways than one. It's pretty cool. But we have the Promised Land, but it's out of the Promised Land is more of an area and then there's ambush, there's switchback, there's different spots up there. Buddy tree, Buddy Rock.
Buddy Rock. Yeah. Yeah.
Buddy Rock. There's like, it's really cool to name spots. We name spots. We don't name deer. So, but Mike just names them small, medium, and big.
Yeah. Yes, I had 3 deer I was tracking. And small, medium, and large this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And large I've been tracking for over 3 years.
Yeah.
He's getting old.
And when you see a big one, it's like, oh man, he was a thumper or this or that. You know, there's no. It's not like
It was a racker.
Yeah. Oh man, I saw a joker out there. You know. We have another another spot called Swamp Donkey, and Will Primos, thanks to who he says, look at that Swamp Donkey.
And got Muddy Run.
And we got Muddy Run. Mossy Oak. Yeah, that Mossy Oak is the spot where I hit my buck this year. Never recovered, but man, that spot is very promising. I'm kind of obsessed with that spot right now. So I'm looking forward to next year with that.
Which is the next thing.
Yeah, kind of.
So what's your goal for this next year? Now we're getting into the new year. What's your New Year's kind of goal for bow hunting?
I would like to get in more productive scouting. Not necessarily e-scouting, but I would like to kind of branch out a little bit farther. This year I would like to kind of make it a personal goal to go after the bigger buck, push farther than the average person goes, go in farther. And, that I need more shooting time. I think I need to devote more of my time to shooting for accuracy reasons, for muscle memory reasons, all of the above. But this year, I think I need to focus those 2 things mainly, is my shooting. And probably because of what happened this year, I think it's in my mind, the shooting thing. So that and pushing harder scouting, devoting more time to it, and that will lead to more success.
Well, I told you in the last episode that I wanted to do the 80-20 rule for scouting. You know, I kind of preach that to myself. 80% of the time scouting, 20% of the time hunting, so that you're optimizing every hunt. You're not just hunting to hunt. You're hunting because the sign's there and you've done your homework. And I think I said I did like 60-40 instead of 80-20.
Can I just say something that was an observation from this season from you? I think you hit spots too often this year. I think you became obsessed with a certain spot.
Well, I went out. The only spot that I hit,
big, medium, and small were up there.
Well, I only actually hunted the same spot in that area.
What, nipple?
Yeah. I only hunted the same spot in that area twice. And I hunted different areas.
Okay. So that's where that threw me off. Okay.
Yeah. Understand? Different areas I was never in, and I was doing scout the hunts multiple times.
And you did observe and then moved. I remember that. Okay. So I'm a little wrong. Sorry. I didn't mean to call you out.
Fat Trail, that one place I hunted there like 3 times in a row over, not days in a row, but like over a course of 2 weeks. I probably hunted 3 hunts out there, 2 more.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
Yeah. So, but that's about the most I did.
Yeah.
Now I do, like I said, I want to do same as you. I want to do more scouting.
Yeah.
I want to enhance my woodsmanship. I want to get better. I think I'm pretty good woodsman, but you can always get better.
Yeah.
And identifying plants that deer are eating and things like that. The food sources are a huge thing.
That's another thing, actually. Thank you for you just triggered it. My knowledge of trees is abysmal at best. I want to make it a goal of mine to learn my trees better. That will help me in scouting, have a better understanding, food patterns and everything else, habitat, because of the transition areas, because of those kinds of trees and this and that. I am dense when it comes to the trees. I just know, that tree is dropping acorns right now as we speak, because I can hear it, or see it,
Now, Trevor, my son Trevor, he just finished a class where he was literally up to a camp and identifying trees, just looking at that twig. Oh, that's this tree. That's this tree.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to
pick his brain a little bit.
Yeah,
Me too.
I'd like to get a lot better at that, but I have to get a new bow this year.
Thank God he loves his Uncle Dan.
I have to get a new bow, but one of the things that I really want to do this year is I talked a lot about how every individual has a a specific arrow weight and configuration
yes.
that is optimal for you, right? It depends on your bow, your draw length, your draw weight, and the arrow. And I want to build out my own arrows, to have them aligned as close as I can with that optimal weight. So my optimal weight on the bow that I'm shooting right now, which will be different with a different bow,
Right.
is about 500 grains. And I said 498, but that was just down in the weeds. But it's about 500 grains. So I figure with a new bow, it's not going to be far from that.
Right.
Because my draw length's going to stay same. I'm probably going to be in the same range for my draw weight.
And from what you know from this season, I think I'm set up pretty good with my elite.
Mm-hmm.
You're shooting pretty much the exact same. Your arrows were a little bit more FOC though coming out of my bow. You're shooting that pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I mean, mine was, I forget now. It's been a
Like
year.
the percentages.
Yeah, I think it was like 13.
You said, I thought it was just closer
14.
to 14 or
Yeah, 14 something.
14 point something.
Yeah, it was.
FOC.
FOC.
FOC is the forward of center. So
Yeah.
it's how much more weight you have towards the front of your arrow than
Right.
towards the back. And that contributes to a straighter flying arrow.
Right.
Hunting arrows, they generally say, should be between 13 and 15% FOC. But a lot of people are really going with like upwards of 20% and really getting crazy on FOC. You'll even hear people going higher.
You gotta remember too.
But that'll start affecting the flight of your arrow.
That what affects the FOC too is what grain broadhead you're using also, and if you're using,
The one thing though is, and this is just the factors of aerodynamics and how arrows fly and everything that is too deep into physics that I'll never understand. But I do know for a fact that you can't just say, oh, I want to increase my FOC, my weight in the front, and I just throw a 150 on the front.
Yeah.
And you might shoot that, and it might shoot like crap. You might put a 125 on, and it flies great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is a balancing act there. So,
Yes.
but I'm going to do that. I actually hope to do some videos on that, once I kind of, build my arrows out and see how it comes out and stuff. But I'm not really going to I don't want to get down to fletchings and stuff. I want to just buy the arrow that's pre-fletched, possibly, depending on who I can find. I want to get it at the right weight and then get the right inserts,
Yeah.
or outserts, and then broadhead to hit that weight for me. So,
Yeah.
and I might have to go down to a stiffer spine. I might have to go like to a 300, as opposed to that 350 I shot this year.
I think when I get new arrows, I'm going to stick with method archery.
They make a great arrow.
I am so impressed with them.
They are great. They are great.
Beyond impressed with
Yeah.
them. So
Method archery will configure it for you, and you don't have to even think about it.
you just give them your measurements, what weight you want, what helical you want, all that, and it just spits out like it has an algorithm. It just spits it out for you.
I want to shoot a 150 broadhead, where they're going to configure their arrow for you.
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, you can
squared
pick
away.
3 fletching, 4 fletching, and I like the whole helical, which way you want it to spin. If you're left-handed, spin it left. If you're right-handed,
And if you don't
things like
understand
that.
what any of that means, you can contact them, and they'll tell you what the best is for your, like, you gotta say, this is my bow, this is what I'd like to do, this is the broadhead, and they'll tell you, well, this is the best setup for you.
I gotta admit, and not only was it my elite,
And we have nothing to do with them. We just like to come.
we're just fans because we use their product. Yeah, we're not sponsored by anybody, so
Nobody.
we're just talking from personal experience. But again, I uber impressed. This year was the best, and you can attest to it because you've used my bow. This was the best I've ever shot. So, is it the elite bow? Is it the method archery arrows? Is it, there's a lot that goes into that, but I think a lot of it too is muscle memory, being confident. There's a lot. The psychological game in archery is such a big part of it, and I think it's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
Archery is such a psychological game. The games
Confidence
you'll play,
is a lot.
with that psyche comes confidence, and if you are questioning things, you'd be surprised how that affects your shooting. And that's another thing. I would like to do more 3D shoots.
Yeah.
Because
get out and do 3D shoots.
Because for one, it's great practice, but for two, I'm
It puts
pretty
you in all
compe-
kinds of different shooting situations.
I'm pretty competitive at heart, and I like the little competition. When you and Dad go, it's a great time. So for any of you guys that have local, rod and gun club or whatever, anywhere near you guys that have 3D shoots, go to them. Take a friend, somebody that you can go walk the woods with and do these with. It's a great time. Get a little friendly competition between you. A little competition puts a little pressure on you and kind of simulates some things that happen in the woods. So it's
If you don't
it's
know
a
what
good time.
3D shoot is, it's 3D actual like targets of deer
Right.
and other animals,
Right.
and they'll have the rings on them where you're supposed to shoot, and that's how they score you.
Yeah, and they're all placed.
You score yourself; they don't have people.
Our local fishing game does one hell of a 3D shoot, and they'll put branches in the way where you have to like lean and do all these crazy angled shots, and they have a huge platform down in the woods too. So now you're getting to do your elevated shots and all that. It's simulated very well. Our club does one heck of a good job.
That's one of the best things to do to really get your confidence up, or to totally crush your confidence and make you say, "I can't go hunting this year."
But I'll tell you what, I love the friendly competition, and it's good for morale. It's good for everybody involved.
Yeah. But I want to do that with my arrows. And just
Are you going to cut them and everything?
well, if I can get them cut for me. But if
I was going to say, you're going to buy a cutter.
I will buy a cutter.
Okay.
I will buy a cutter. I might even buy a Fletcher to try. I want to do that eventually. I don't know if I want to dig that far right away. I kind of want to just see what I can do. And they do have these new things that you can slide on fletchings.
Yeah.
And you can do like a heat thing.
It's like because it's like a wrap almost.
Yeah, it's almost like a wrap.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look. I'm gonna do some
Play with it
research.
a little
I'm gonna
bit.
do some research, and then we'll see where we're at with it. But yeah, that's
I don't trust me.
well.
Again,
I put together.
what will happen. My luck, fletchings would be flying off of it all over the place.
Now, when I got my HMR arrows from Method Archery, I had to put those together. They sent me the kit with the it's not glue, but the JB weld or whatever it is.
So was there like a jig that they gave you?
No. They were fletched already,
Oh.
and they were cut to length.
But you had to put your inserts in.
I had to put the
stuff.
inserts in, and I had to
for
put
your knock.
I had to put my
Knocks in.
all that stuff, and it was neat because I have a roller over here and rolling to make sure that you can hear my dog in.
He's going
He must be getting a treat. But I have a roller so you can make sure that your arrows are rolling perfectly. And you got perfect balance in your arrows, which matters.
Right.
So it was neat to do that. In fact, I ended up kicking one to the curb because it didn't bounce right for me.
So into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a good learning experience.
Yeah.
So it kind of made me want to do more of that. So
in the beginning, when you're a beginner, I did. I'm not going to say anybody else is. That's unfair. But I kind of left it all up to the technicians. And the more I got into
Nothing wrong with
archery,
that.
I kind of got a little more. Now, we'll say this: we have an archery shop close to us, and there's like two guys there that I trust with everything. Nate, and then there's another guy.
they're great.
They're at Extreme Archery in York, Pennsylvania.
They're great.
Shout out to them. You guys are the best archery shop. Nothing but love. Appreciate you guys.
And they have an indoor range.
They have an indoor 3D range, which is pretty cool. So it's a mile and a half from my house. We're pampered when it comes to that. So, but I let it up to the professionals because I don't trust myself.
Now, the one thing I say all the time, and you might have heard me say it before on the podcast, is that your bow doesn't kill the deer, the arrow does. And it's just like anything else. A lot of people will go out and they'll buy this super expensive bow. They'll spend all this money on all the sight and everything else, and then they'll buy these
Junk arrows.
crap arrows because they've already put all their money into that bow, and now it's just I'm just going to buy these arrows, and they don't even check the spine.
Really, like 1 out of 4 is actually flying the way it should.
You know, because the spine of the arrow matters for your setup. It can be dangerous to shoot the wrong spine that's really out of whack. There's a lot of flex there, but if you shoot the wrong spine for your bow, it can be bad. So it's always good to check and make sure you have the right arrow for your particular setup.
You have some information on that on archeryhunting.com.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
And you can learn what spine and spine deflection is, and then how to use a spine chart to pick the right spine for the arrows you want to buy.
Right.
So Easton is a good one for that. Easton has good charts on their site too.
Yeah.
Easton Arrows. So But yeah, that's kind of, my goals. I think I've really achieved a lot of stuff that I wanted to achieve this season. I just didn't have the target deer in front of me to shoot.
Yeah.
That's
an important part of it.
I had my target buck. I found he was there in front of me. I was in the right place.
Just at the wrong timing.
Time of day.
Yeah.
It was dark still, but had the other 8-point near me. I had the 6-point that came right to my tree. I had another 6-point that was 10 yards from me.
Yeah.
I had 4-point after 4-point, spike after spike. I had a spike at the base of my tree and hang out around me for 15 minutes. I got a great video of him trying to figure me out with the ozonics. He was going nuts on it, licking his nose and stuff, a little crazy.
So hey, are we still going to go out for second season here?
Yes,
like planned.
I'm not going to be able to go this weekend or the weekend after Christmas. I mean, because of Tyler being there. My older boys come to visit me, but
up from the Carolinas.
Yeah, so it'll probably be more likely the next weekend, the first weekend of January.
Okay.
So I'll have to see. There's always, he could have plans, and
I'm going to be on call for work the 5th. That first. Yeah. So,
well, I guess we'll come back to you and tell you what our plans are.
Oh, well, it is what it is. This is life. And I'm actually thinking about heading down to Peckway and doing the day after Christmas. I have off work. Nobody in my house does. They have to work. And I'm not just going to sit there and watch the hunting public. I mean, I can. But I think I'm going to go out and do a nice morning hunt, at least in the minimum. But I'd like to get out in the woods. I need some fresh air.
Yeah. I think I could take at least like this season. Yeah, I'd hope to do the late season here a little bit, but in coming turkey, I hope to at least I'll cheat a little bit and take out crossbow for turkey.
I'll tell you what, spring gobbler. For those who don't know, I love turkey hunting. I love archery hunting. Turkey hunting is my holy grail. I absolutely adore it. I love it. There's nothing like it on this planet. The sounds that come out of the woods, it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. So that is really what I'm looking forward to.
I'm not a good turkey hunter. I have turkey near me and have shot.
And when he does the call with his mouth, he kind of sounds like a monkey.
Either a monkey or is it a wounded turkey?
A wounded puppy. Spring gobbler, man, I can't wait. I always look forward to it. Love it. One of my most favorite times of the year. So that's on the horizon. Hey, new year brings new possibilities, and come next summer comes new tags. So the cycle starts all over. So from this point, we have a little bit of late season archery to get through. And after that, we got spring gobbler. But through all that, we could be starting our prep for the oncoming season.
We're doing a lot of winter scouting and spring.
Yeah.
Excuse me, a lot of winter and spring scouting, because spring scouting can be one of the most beneficial times to get out there because everything's clear. You don't have the new growth quite yet, and you can see all the stuff that the deer did in the fall.
Right.
Really get some great intel for the next season. So
yeah, we'll see how this winter goes with snow and how that impacts the deer situation in our area, and go from there. I'm excited.
All right, are you ready to wrap this up?
Merry Christmas, everybody! Please hit that like button, subscribe. We appreciate everybody, and seriously, Mike. We really hope everybody has a great holiday season here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and good luck, everybody.
Yeah, we love the comments. So keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming, whether it's on Spotify or at the website at archeryhunting.com or the Everyday Bow Hunter on YouTube. So we really appreciate it. Keep them coming, and
thank you.
We'll see you next time.